Merry Christmas. Everybody. Hi, how you doing? That's like a little Zazoo Plazz. Why am I whispering? Oh, maybe because it's 2:30 in the morning. So, but I got my mic here. I think it's all charged up and ready to go. Zazoo Plazz Report of the year. Hopefully this thing holds out. It shut off by itself earlier, probably because it wasn't charged enough. But there we go. We'll hope for now it's too high. We'll hope for the best here. Put a clip, make sure it's nice. Oh, got a rifle inside. Just only here. You just never know what's going to happen. You're on the Zazoo Plazz Report. The last one for 2025. I want to show you what my kid got me for Christmas. There it is. Where's the box? Oh, it's over here. Here's the box. It's the fragile. It's a leg lamp night light. That's my younger kid. The younger one, the forestry kid. I'll just put this box over here. We had a good laugh over that one. I guess he thought it's something that, because we always watch the movie. They watch the movie with their dad on Christmas Day. My parents always loved it because it's like the way my dad grew up. You know, it takes place around 1940. He was a little young then. He was like maybe 3, but you know, in the 40s, he grew up in the 40s. So you know, all the stuff he can kind of relate to. And the boys and their dad went out for Chinese food on Christmas Eve, which is, you know, and I said, "Did you get the duck?" Because in the movie, the dog runs off with the turkey, and the only restaurant that's open on Christmas is the chop suey, you know, place. So they go there, and that's when they sing, well, you know, rah 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 rah. Anyway, so, but the leg lamp is significant for our family because every year I make my French meat pies, the tortilla. My grandmother made them, my aunt, my mother, and now, you know, for years I made them. But you know, my in-laws being Polish, and you know, the kids like them. But you know, it's one of those things. It's an acquired taste. And I don't expect the kids to carry on the tradition. Although my oldest son did, you know, he did make grandma's stuffing, which is essentially the meat pie mixture without the crust. But every year, so I make my meat pies, and I had this leg lamp cookie cutter, and I would, with the leftover scraps of dough, I used the prepared pie, the Pillsbury pie crust. I didn't make my own. My mother didn't either. Well, maybe in the beginning, but once they came out with the pie crust in the box, she stopped doing that. I would take the leg lamp and, you know, make a leg lamp out of the leftover scraps of the pie crust and slap it on one of the pies. And the other pie, I would put like roll out, you know, the year, like 20 or 21, whatever the year was, I put that on the top of the second pie. Do an egg wash and throw them in the oven. And so that became my tradition. And so most families would have tortilla on Christmas Eve, but we would always have porte chinois, which was basically shepherd's pie, kind of a thing. Except my mother used to chop up the potatoes instead of make mashed potatoes. I don't know, we're weird. But we got in the habit when I was a kid of having that on Christmas Eve, and we have the meat pies on New Year's. So, you know, always, but you know, the family's from Quebec, usually sometime in Christmas week. it's customary to have the meat pies, which is basically ground up pork. But some people put hamburger, but my mother just used pork. We were purists with a little bit of potato in there and onions and allspice, all kinds of spices, Pretty simple, but it's a hearty dish because it gets cold, in the winter. You needed something to stick to your ribs. And she'd always make it with some kind of a turnip, and ketchup and some kind of like a chopped coleslaw or some kind of a chopped salad on the side, So that's what, my whole childhood, my grandmother made them, and then my mother kind of took over when Mime got, older and she didn't want to make them anymore. So, and then it's fallen to me for the past few years when my mom, got sick and she couldn't do it. Even before that, I took it over. She made sure I had the recipe down. So every New Year's, anybody who knows me knows it's the billetto thing. You gotta, although it was my mother's side of the family that made them, it wasn't my dad's side. They never had them for some reason. I don't know. Maybe my mom's family was more traditional, like more of a, I don't want to say rural, but a little more rustic, traditionally Quebec. And my dad's family, maybe they were more city people. They came to America, through a different route. They came through Providence instead of, maybe my mom's family came like through Massachusetts, Maine, down that way. They had the potatoes, maybe the Fall River side of the family, ate, maybe they had more of a Portuguese influence. I don't know. I'm working on finding that out. But, such as it is, every New Year's, we'd have our meat pies. So I'm going to make mine every year. Now that it's just me, I just make one. And my dad, he doesn't really, I don't know if he ever cared for them too much, but, we always had them. My mom and I were the ones who liked it the most, I think, and my grandfather. I'm catching a cold now. So, before I get into all this, today it's Holy Family, the Feast of the Holy Family in the Catholic, tradition. And of course, Jesus, because Jesus was born, it's all about Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. When I was a kid in Catholic school, we always used to put like JMJ at the top of our paper with a cross. The nuns made us do that, JMJ. For a while, we did that in middle school for a little bit. I don't know why, we just did that. It was JMJ with a cross. No, nobody does that anymore, I'm sure. So, a few of my gifts. Oh, we got to do the Christmas haul. I'm so grateful for all my presents. So grateful. And okay, here we go. Sandalwood and musk. This is from my oldest son. He's got good taste. I love that. Oh my gosh. Smell that. That's really nice. Got a nice candle there. And let's see what else we got here. Oh yeah. So he goes to visit his girlfriend, whose family is Vietnamese. He goes to New Jersey. So he went into some shop down there that had, I guess Vietnamese or different kinds of things. And he got me a special soap. It's got funny writing on it. Saffron. Very interesting smell. And, these Pluto and Sag kids, they introduced me to all kinds of different, things of the world. And look at this he got me. Oh, he left the price tag on. $9.99. A paper, let's see, it's a Gerbera daisy. It's a wooden craft. Cozy and leisure. Spend some time for love and flowers to indulge in a cozy and leisurely life. Apparently, he thinks that I have time to indulge in a cozy and leisurely life. And I can make this little, isn't that nice? Little daisy craft thing, like a little vase with paper daisies. I love that. And on my birthday, my 60th birthday, I let it slip that, I was running out of my notebook here. So he got me a new one. It's got like teacups and so it's really cool. I can't wait to use this in 2026. Since I was a little kid, I've always gotten a new diary every year, every Christmas or birthday. And this I got for myself. Look at this. This is all. They come in. There's all different colors, and there's like little charms that go on these. These are little tarot card bags because I have. You get the tarot card, but the cardboard box just kind of shreds. So I found these on Amazon. Look at these. How cool is this, right? They're little, like, kind of like a microfiber, suede, soft. And you put your cards in there, and then you lay them out on this thing. And then you fold them up, and then tie it with the string. See? Like that. Isn't that cool? I thought these were so cool. And you put the little charm on there. See? See, they come in all different colors. So, and then I put it in this bag. My mom had written Leslie on before she passed, and I still had the bag. So I'm kind of pretending like, my mom gave it to me from beyond. She would give me, tarot cards and stuff, because she was into that stuff. My mom was an astrologer and a tarot reader, and she did it all. But she never had any little things like that. She would get like a little bag, like at Christmas tree shops before she kept them in business. They used to have like little, um, it was a little nautical bag. I don't know, it had like ocean stuff on it because she was Pluto and Cancer. So she had this little bag, and I still have it. She'd put her cards in there and like tie it or zip it up, and when she passed, I got that little bag with her tarot cards in it. Oh, there's the plow. I guess it's snowing. Yeah, we got dumped on a couple days ago. I had to go and move my car and shovel out. We got a lot of snow. See, I inherited her coupons for Bed Bath and Beyond and her tarot cards and all these little phone numbers of people that my mother would meet, when she went for coffee or she went shopping. People would write their names, and you know, she she collected people. She collected souls in need of counsel, in need of comfort, And my dad, I went over his house. I brought my baked stuffed shells and my cherry pie salad, and my boys came over there, and we all had like Christmas supper, let's call it. It's dinner, whatever, evening meal. And my cherry cream pie, and we had good. And my dad brought this Shady Glen holiday ice cream that has cherries in it. It's pink. It's Shady Glen is a dairy restaurant, hamburger place, here in Manchester, Connecticut, near me. So that's kind of tradition. So we had a nice. He got to visit with the boys, and then I showed up. And we had, then we opened our presents, and so we had a nice night. And then the boys took off. They had things to do, places to go. And I visited with my dad for a while, spent some time, helped him clean up and package up his leftovers and things. And it was kind of nice. But I was leaving, and he said, he said, "You're so much like your mom." He said, we'd go places, and people would start telling her all their life stories, And I remember that too, because she took me with her many times. And you know. So my dad would kind of be, I don't know, he'd let her go. He'd do his thing. He'd go to work. He'd be out in the yard. He'd be, you know. So I was close to my mom. I have Capricorn in the fourth house, which is, that's traditionally a fourth house is the house of the mother. It's traditionally ruled by Cancer, but I had Capricorn there and Cancer at the midheaven. So I'm opposite. Traditionally Capricorn rules the 10th house. That's the father. So my father was, is he was kind of the nurturing one. My mother was the disciplinarian, and my dad was like, you know, he kind of let me, do whatever. He was there, but he was kind of, well, I have Sun conjunct Neptune. My dad was, you know, he's the spiritual one, but more traditionally religious, you know. But it's a long story. Zazoo, okay, rein it in. Right. So this is my last report of the year. So we're going to touch on some family themes today. And next year, I'm going to get myself a place where I can really let loose, be loud. I'm going to get myself a studio, where I don't have to be quiet at night if I want to do a video. But for now, anyway, I have to be considerate. So we're going to do this. Let's see, like lamb, Christmas, okay. Yeah. Did I do everything? Yeah, I think I did. Okay. Yeah. So we've got. I'll get through this. Siraj. I looked it up. We had Siraj last weekend, right before my birthday. It was Halloween. So we've seen him before recently. Kind of a 2025 rewind, refresh, going back. So it's always the same reading every year. It's the, God sets the father in honor over his children, mother's authority over her sons. That one. Um, you know, so but I decided to look at it from an astrological point of view. This week, Sun's in Capricorn. So, okay, traditionally, and then Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, which, um, you know, Saturn is the father, right? So we have a bunch of we have Mars and Venus in Capricorn too. So Mars, male, female, Capricorn. We have Mercury and Sag. Saturn is now in Pisces with Neptune. They're about to go into Aries next year, so that's huge. So that's significant. We've got a lot of fiery transitions coming up. We're going to have a lot of fire. Next year is the year of the fire horse. But I'm going to focus on Saturn today because Saturn is ruler of Capricorn and 10th house, which is, some astrologers used to say the opposite, but 10th house is, your standing in the world, your career, the father. All right. So Saturn, in myth, Roman myth, Saturn was the father of Neptune, Jupiter, Pluto, and the goddesses Juno, Ceres, and Vesta. So you see, he was the son of Uranus and Gaia, so sky and earth mother, right? So he was afraid, Saturn was afraid, that his kids would grow up and overthrow him. Just like Herod, right? King Herod, when Jesus was born, you can't make this up. So, so he ate his kids, Saturn, right? Except Jupiter, who his wife Ops hid. So he grew up and overthrew his father, Jupiter. That's kind of interesting. So Sirach says, God sets a father in honor over his children. Mother's authority. Oh, I just read that. Yeah. So the father, in this case, it's seen as strict and disciplinarian, and then we have with New Year's we have Saturn is as the old man, as Father Time, right? Um, and of course, Saturn is karma, the Lord of karma. And if you're you pray, you do what you're supposed to do, you're kind, honor, and so forth. Um, then you atone for your sins, right? If you honor the Father, in other words, if you honor your karma and are aware of it and take steps to gradually, step by step, get rid of your karma. That's Capricorn. Step by step by step, right? The seagull. Then you'll eventually bear fruit. Your life will be fruitful. And it says, if you honor your mother, who is Mother Earth, you'll store up riches, right? So that is interesting. Yeah. So Father Time is old in December, but he's a baby in January, right? So it's like your life, right? You go through, and the astrological wheel has 10 signs in the astrological year. You start in Aries as a baby, you end up in as an old man at the end of the year. Well, typically, like the year really ends with Pisces, but for the purposes of our calendar year, it's December, right? Which is when we celebrate Saturnalia, which is the Yule celebration. It all makes sense, right? So yeah, there's that. Yeah, so the Psalm said, blessed. The whole thing. What was it? Okay. Yeah, the Psalm. Blessed are those who fear the Lord and walk in his ways. That's the one with the wife as the fruitful vine and the children like olive plants. That one. Same deal. Same general. But Christmas, the families get together, right? It's the time. And baby Jesus with his parents, right? It's it's the 10th house, 4th house axis, the Cancer Capricorn axis. Cancer is traditionally, you could say it's the mother and the roots, family, right? 4th house. When you're little, and that's where your family come into your family house. And like I said, I have Capricorn there. So my mother was a Capricorn, and my family, she was the one. She set the boundaries, man. I couldn't get away with anything. Anyway, yeah. So Colossians, Paul, letter to the Colossians. Brothers and sisters, he says, put on as God's chosen ones kindness, humility, gentleness, patience, all that stuff. And bear with and forgive each other as God forgives us. So, we're seeing the reading talks about brothers and sisters too. Fathers, mothers, brothers, everybody's all together, right? This time of year. And it hits you really hard, right? All that stuff, all that family stuff. Even if your parents are gone, it's all there. It's still there in the soup. They come back and visit you. Anyway, and overall, love, right? And so, and let the peace of Christ control our hearts. the time of year we make space in our hearts for the Christ light to come through. And then we integrate it over the holiday, right? That's why you can never get anything done Christmas week, because you're so tired from all this energy, this, this love that's pouring forth, filling us, right? But that's supposed to be. We're supposed to do that so that we can go forward into the new year. We have to reflect on all that's happened. It's good. Yeah. And be thankful for all that has come and all that will come, all that we've received. Oh, thank God. Jesus, do everything in the name of Jesus. So, and then they say, the wives, I hate that part, the subordinate to the husband. But, it's symbolic, right? It's symbolic. The wife, typically, the female is like earth mother energy, right? So the Father, God the Father created the earth, right? So earth is our mother and nurtures us when we're here on the earth, provides for us, right? Protects us. And the Father in heaven is the one who, he's got the whole plan, and he's above, as below, above, and so below. That's the way I see it. I'm making this up as I go along. I don't know. Sounds good. So Matthew Gospel. So we hear that the Magi has left. The three kings went back to their little country by a different route so that they didn't have to deal with Herod, King Herod. And then the angel appears to Joseph in a dream and says, yeah, you better go to Egypt for a while till things calm down, because King Herod is king who is also like Saturn, thinking that this baby is going to come and overthrow him. Well, it's the parallel. It's the myth, right? Okay, so there's this common theme here of the children coming to overthrow the father. Very interesting. So then, after Herod dies, Joseph has another to take the family to back to Israel. So, he's still kind of afraid of the guy, Herod's son, who's in power. So he takes them to Nazareth in Galilee. And that fulfills the prophecy that says he shall be called Nazarene, right? So here's what we have. So get to the song, Zazoo, before the ball drops. All right. Okay, so I was just, George Michael. He died Christmas 9 years ago, 2016, which was so sad. He was only 53, I guess, 53, yeah. So it's interesting. George Michael, he was Greek. Well, his dad was Greek, his mom was British, English, but he was closer to his mother. He was buried right next to his mother, and he predeceased. He left his dad and his two sisters. They were still alive when he died. So I don't know too much. He says his dad was, working a lot and busy, and I read something about his dad not being entirely convinced that his son was going to be a singer, that he had these gifts. But, you don't know if you can believe everything you read online. So, but it seems that he was very close to his mom. So, there's that. And his sisters. But so he left them. He left his fortune to them. So the song is, this was never released as a single. So I vaguely remember it, but he did a combination song. Let's see, in let's see, he did a cover, right? A combination cover of Killer Seal's song "Killer" and "Papa Was a Rolling Stone" by the well, it, Papa Was a Rolling Stone was a Temptations did it in 1972, and it became, it was a #1 hit. It won 3 Grammys, but it was actually written by Norman Whitfield and Barrett Strong, 1971. It was a Motown group, The Undisputed Truth. They released the single in May of '72 and only got to number 63. And then the Temptations released it later that year, and it was a big hit. So same here. Seal released the song "Killer." It was so here's the story how that came about. That was in March 1990 that came out, and I guess it was with this British DJ producer called Adamski. He co-wrote it with Seal. So as it turned out, here's the story. Seal was, at the time he was, doing gigs, but he wasn't that famous. He saw this DJ, Adamski, perform at an illegal rave. That was the time raves were. Well, this was the UK, but they were trying to crack down on raves, which would pop up, around 1990. We Gen X kids, we remember those. They kind of pop up here and there, but I guess in the UK they were illegal, or government was trying to crack down on them. And this Adamski guy was, he would go and protest against the government for cracking down on him because that was his business, doing these raves, right? It's spinning records and stuff. So they would. Seal saw him perform at a rave in 1989, and then later he gave his MC a demo tape of him singing, and they were really impressed with him. So they later met, the two, Adamski and Seal. They met on New Year's Eve of 1989, and at this club, Solaris in London, and he invited Seal to work on the track for this song, "The Killer," which he said sounded like the soundtrack for a murder movie scene. But Seal did the vocals. He recorded them on January 27th of 1990, which was the same day 10,000 people gathered near that studio where he was recording in Trafalgar Square in London to demonstrate against, crackdown on raves. So this song, yes, it went #1 in the UK, and it went gold. It was the first single from the second album, Adamski's second album, And so 1991, Seal re-recorded it for his debut album, Seal. And it got to #100 on the Billboard. Not as much. So which is probably why I don't remember hearing it. But the video, okay, that Seal did was so no, not well. Seal did a video, but George Michael was nominated for the video he did on this combination cover song. He got nominated for Best MTV Male Video and Breakthrough Video of '93, and he won the International Viewers' Choice MTV Europe Video Award for it. So I'm gonna put the George Michael cover video so you can watch it, and the Seal song "Killer" in that video, so you can see both of them. I don't know about the Temptations, but I don't think they did a video in 72. But I'll put those two. And yeah, because it's very interesting. And I never know what I'm gonna stumble upon. So anyway, yeah, we'll see. I hope you have yourself a great New Year's Eve and Happy New Year. This is my last report of the year, so I'll have next week will be 2026. Thanks for hanging out with me here, 2025. I really appreciate it. I appreciate your likes, your staying with me the whole time while I ramble and rant and retort. It's been fun. I definitely will be continuing this, and maybe who knows what else I'll add to my repertoire the coming year. New creative ventures to come is yet to be revealed. And I'm gonna go have my paleo hot chocolate snack now. Last one for the year, and I'm gonna make a pot of split pea soup too. I got some ham, but I'll probably be having leftover shrimp and broccoli stir fried tonight just to clean out the freezer. But all the blessings and many exciting adventures, good health, happiness, and blessings on you and your families in the new year. I will see you same place, different time. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.